that, and I want to start with Timothy because I think Timothy has incredible taste and incredible knowledge, and he is really he makes the past seem very contemporary. So Timothy, what would you say?
I think that if you look at, we all walk into rooms and a space may feel right. Or you walk into other rooms and there's something wrong about it. And I really think it goes back to the whole golden mean, the golden ratio of proportion and scale. And that if you get that right, I think so much else just follows.
How hard is it to adapt really beautiful pieces from the past? I mean,
we were built to do work and use our hands and do things, but with computerization and with the iPad and the iPhone, we really are coming down to just using our fingers. And so what you talked about was how that translates into design, particularly into fabrics and furniture. Furniture is going to have to blend different surfaces, woods, metals, things like that, just to give that sense, to give your finger and the way you touch it, the sense of three-dimensionality, of depth, which you're not getting other ways. And in fabrics, things are going to go either much softer or much more tactile, as a way of giving the sensory sort of experience that you're not having otherwise. But when people get into any of our rooms, they say, "My God, that's the most comfortable room I've ever been in," and they can't quite figure out how that happened. And I think it's because we very consciously use antiques as exclamation points, as statement pieces. But anything that you sit in, I don't use little gold spindly chairs, the Louis XVI chairs, because they're just not comfortable. And you may have it in the corner where no one's going to sit if you want to make that statement. But I think it's mixing the antiques,
like a piece of sculpture,
like a piece of sculpture, like a piece of art. But making that where you live, I think, really comes down to being comfortable, where you sit. And so I think that's where you can create that timelessness.
You know, the Great Gatsby's opening next week, and you know, Tiffany is pushing that jewelry like crazy. Is that coincidental?
I think the result of that is because it is so event-driven that we're going to be getting it with more frequency, and so I think things will become fads as opposed to true trends. Because this year's Gatsby was last year's Downton Abbey, was the year before that's Mad Men, was the year before that Marie Antoinette, before that was As Good as It Gets, where everyone had to have As Good as It Gets in their house, that look. So I think that I'm not sure that it's going to take the form of real trends as much as it is fads.
What other periods do you particularly, personally hate and hope never to see?
I think the most important thing is frankly exposure and education. I remember as a kid growing up in the 60s and 70s in LA, we didn't have a lot of gilded furniture here, and I would go back to the East Coast to college and go to Paris, and I'd see all this gilded furniture, and I'd say, ick, you know, that horrible gold stuff. But as you start exposing yourself to it and learning about it and learning the historical context, you start to gain a different appreciation.